Hello everyone and welcome back to the Beatles Forever. The other week I did a video about Wings Over America, but since it was such a large album, I decided to break it into two videos, and now we'll continue with part two. The first song up is You Gave Me the Answer. So Paul's dad, James, had his own band when he was younger, and so Paul liked to pay tribute to him when he wrote songs in the music hall style. Then when he went into the concert, he dedicated the songs like that to Fred Astaire. So I love Paul's songs when he sounds like he's back in time, and he writes such good melodies, it works every time. In the live version, Paul comes in with a rollicking piano, which I love, and then Paul sounds like he has a great time singing in this style. And he has a great backup with the horn section, and Paul even whistles along, and this is a good song. Next up, MAGNETO into Titanium Man. According to Wikipedia, the song is in narrative form and includes the Marvel Comics characters Magneto, Titanium Man, and the Crimson Dynamo in its story. When asked his opinion of the song decades after its release, Stan Lee, who co-created all three characters, said he thought it was terrific. So that made it good that Stan Lee, the creator, liked it, or there could have been trouble. Jack Kirby, who created the characters along with Stan Lee, was invited to Paul's concert with his daughter, who was a huge Wings fan and Beatles fan. So they got front row seats and a backstage pass. Wow, they got the VIP treatment. So Paul was a big fan of Marvel Comics and a big comic book fan. I didn't know that till I found out the information researching the song. So that's neat to know that. And the song kind of reminds me a little bit of Rocky Raccoon because of the way Paul sings and kind of talks in the song. It's a bouncy song, and it makes you pay attention to find out what's going on with the song. Next up, we have Go Now. So this song's performed by Denny Laine, and he originally did the song with his band, the Moody Blues. I always loved this song, and Denny does a great job with the song. Laine continued to perform the song in concert during his years in Wings, and on June 21st through the 23rd, in 1976 at the Forum in Inglewood, California, Laine performed Go Now with the band Wings, accompanying himself on the piano, along with Paul McCartney on bass and vocals, Linda McCartney on vocals, Jimmy McCulloch on lead guitar, and Joe English on drums. This version of Go Now appears on the Wings Over America live album, so that's a neat fact to learn. And it was great the way he performed. Next up is My Love. This song appeared on the Red Rose Speedway album first, and Paul McCartney began writing My Love on a piano as a love song to his wife Linda, and he wrote it early in their relationship. McCartney biographer Luca Parazzi dates the composition to 1969 or 1970. The critics really ripped this song, one critic saying Paul was trying to emulate something that the Something song that George Harrison had written, but he missed the aesthetic significance of the six-note guitar hook that precedes the verse of Harrison's composition, instead inserting the woo-woo-woo refrain that sinks My Love. Paul had the song played at Linda's funeral, and that shows how much the song meant to him, and so that's all that counts. I think it's a great song, and it's so catchy, you want to sing along with it. So next up is Listen to What the Man Said. And this catchy tune was recorded the first time for the Venus and Mars album. It's an upbeat song, and you have to have a lot of air to sing this song because it seems to be a lot of words in the lyrics. This is an upbeat love song that Paul is so good at writing and performing. To hear it live, you marvel at how well they performed it. Great job, everybody. Next up, we have Let 'Em In. So this song was done on the Wings of the Speed of Sound album. I love how the doorbell begins the song and friendly Paul is eagerly awaiting his family and or friends to come inside and visit. This song was a hit in America, the United Kingdom, and Canada, and it's easy to see why. It has that music hall style to it, the Beatles style, and a catchy melody and lyrics. The lyrics name check several famous people between friends and relatives of McCartney who, without a justified reason, knock on the door or ring the bell of his house, and he exclaims, "Let 'em in." They include McCartney's paternal Aunt Jen, his brother Michael, and Linda's brother John. And then Phil and Don of the Everly Brothers are named in the duo. The duo had a hit with Keep a Knockin', along with Martin Luther, who famously hung his 95 Theses on the church door. and Uncle Ernie, who was also named, being the character Ringo Starr sang in the London Symphony Orchestra's recording of The Who's rock opera Tommy. Paul is singing at his sassy best in this version of the song, and the crowd really enjoyed it by their cheers and applause. Time to Hide is the next song. Denny Laine is singing this song, and it's a song that he composed. And the song starts out rocking and rolling, and then the harmonica joins in with the drums and guitar. Paul must be playing the bass in this song, and he brings it up front, almost like the bass is singing along with Denny. Paul's doing great with the background vocals as well, and I think he likes the song, and Denny is doing a great job singing too. I didn't really remember this song from the album, but it's a good one, and everybody's jamming. Now we have Silly Love Songs. So this song came originally from the Wings at the Speed of Sound album, and according to Wikipedia, Silly Love Songs was written as a rebuttal to the music critics as well as John Lennon, who had criticized McCartney for writing lightweight love songs. Author Tim Riley suggests that in the song, McCartney is inviting his audience to have a laugh on him, as Elvis Presley had sometimes done. But over the years, people have said, he sings love songs, he writes love songs, he's so soppy at times. I thought, well, I know what they mean, but people have been doing love songs forever. I like them, other people like them, and there's a lot of people I love, and I'm lucky enough to have that in my life. So the idea was that you may call them silly, but what's wrong with that? The song was in a way to answer people who just accuse me of being soppy. The nice payoff now is that a lot of people I met who were at that age when they just got a couple of kids and have grown up a bit, settling down, they'll say to me, I thought you were really soppy for years, but I get it now. I see what you were doing. And by the way, Silly Love Songs also had a good bass line and it worked well live. So Paul McCartney said that in a Billboard article. And Paul ended up having a hit with the song he wrote to defend what kind of songs he was writing and singing, so it worked out well for him. So this song is perfection. The live version sounds just as great as the song that was done in the studio. The bass is jamming, Paul's singing with a great voice, and it has that disco flavor to it. I have learned to appreciate the disco sound. Back then it wasn't cool to like disco, but I secretly did like it. It's another great song. I like the horns in the song too. It reminds me of how Elvis had a lot of horn sounds in his concerts. And Linda is doing well with the backing vocals near the end of the song. Beware My Love. This is another song that came from the album Wings at the Speed of Sound. Another good song. According to Wikipedia critic Rodriguez, he was even more effusive in his praise of the live version of the song Wings Over America, which is a minute and a half shorter than the studio version. He was praising Jimmy McCulloch's guitar playing, Laine's piano playing, and the English's drum rolls. Larry Roeder of the Washington Post described the performance of Wings Over America as rollicking and exciting, and Ben Fong Torres described McCartney's live performance of the song as reaching back for some of the Little Richard inspiration. And John Marlowe of the Miami News described the performance of Beware My Love and Rock Show as rollicking and one of the two moments of the film that feels like being at a rock show. And according to DeRizio, as good a Wings of the Speed of Sound version is, an unreleased version that has McCartney recording with the Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham was even better. So this song shows that Paul could rock and roll when he felt like it, and he does give off that Little Richard vibe here. Paul is singing strongly and the whole band's getting into it. Next up is Letting Go. This song was written by Paul and Linda McCartney, so that's a good collaboration. And it was on their Venus and Mars album and on the B-side of the 45 record Let 'Em In. It's a song that Paul wrote about Linda, that he had a love and an obsession for her. He also felt like he was keeping her away from doing her own thing because she was into photography before he asked her to be in the band and tour with him. The song is a bit heavier than the other songs he's written. It works, but it isn't one of my favorite songs from the album. I think there's too much repetition of the words I feel like letting go, but it does make it easier to remember the lyrics if you have to sing it. So we have next up Band on the Run. This song, of course, was on Band on the Run album. It's a classic. What's not to like about it? It's like 3 songs in one, and I still remember everybody talking about it when I was in the 7th or 8th grade, saying they never heard a song like that before. And even John Lennon praised it, saying it's a great song and a great album. So the live version does a good job competing with the recorded version, and they move and groove in this song. Paul is singing on point, and the bass is really going. And Jimmy does a great job with his guitar parts in the song. Next up is Hi, Hi, Hi. This is Paul getting into his rock and roll roots again, and the song also got Paul into a little bit of trouble, according to Wikipedia. In the UK, the song was banned by the BBC for its sexually suggestive lyrical content. And the BBC also assumed that the title phrase, we're gonna get high, 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 was a drug reference. The specific lyrics objected to its apparent phrase, get you ready for my body gun. McCartney has said that the correct lyrics are, get you ready for my polygon, an abstract image, and later said the BBC got some of the words wrong, but I suppose it is a bit of a dirty song if sex is dirty and naughty. I was in a sensuous mood in Spain when I wrote it. Furthermore, Paul refers back to the song when it's played for a live audience. Yeah, well, the great laugh is when you go live, it makes a great announcement. So you can say, this one was banned, and everyone goes, hooray! And then the audience loves it, This next one was banned, and then you get raving because everybody likes to. Everybody's a bit anti all that banning, all that censorship. Our crew, our generation, really doesn't dig that stuff, as I'm sure you know. So Paul does the song well in Wings Over America version. He has that sass going strong, and the band is playing strong and keeping up with Paul. A great job once more. The last song on the album is Soily, a song written by Paul McCartney in 1971. It was included in the set list of his band Wings during their 1972 tour of Europe and their 1973 tour of Britain. In 1973, it was the first song on the set. It was then reworked, and a faster, heavier version was played during the Wings World Tour of 1975 to 1976. So this song starts out sounding like a roller coaster. The guitar then starts doing a repetitive chord with Paul singing, oh yeah. Then it starts with a heavy rock and roll. And the electric guitar really takes center stage along with Paul and his lyrics. Then the horns join in just as heavy. And according to the website Quora, Soily is a fictional character created by McCartney, the daughter of Bruce and Yvonne McMouse. The McMouse family lives under the stage where Wings performs in an hour-long cartoon produced by Sir Paul but later shelved. Very few people have seen the film. Presumably, if heard in the animation, the song's lyrics would make sense in the context. But apparently Paul doesn't like the movie, and no one who's seen it has been clamoring for its release. So it may be left to rot and lost to history aside from this song and some character sketches sold at an auction a few years ago. It's a heavy-duty song, but it's not one of my favorites, but it's a good song. So Paul McCartney's album Wings Over America takes the listener along with the band as they toured America. And it's neat to hear this album. You can see all the experience Paul had doing live shows in Hamburg when the Beatles were young, and then the places the band played when they hit the big time. So Paul took all this knowledge and became a natural showman. He can play, sing, and write, and he does it all so well. So thank you, Paul, for creating this album so that we all may hear you in Wings at your very best. And you brought enjoyment to the crowds then, and you give enjoyment to the listener now. So it's a wonderful album, and it showcases just how talented you and your band were then. And you picked some great tunes to perform for the tour, and none of us are disappointed. So I hope everybody's been having a good day, and I really hope that you liked the video. If you did, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would be good for my channel. And then thank you once more for tuning in and watching, and tune in again soon for another episode of the Beatles Forever. Thank you. Bye.